Morning, Byron. Can you hear me and see my screen?
Yep, everything's good.
Wonderful. Thank you very much, Byron and Bianca, for sorting out this morning. Welcome to this bright and breezy Monday morning. We're getting into the last stretch of 2022. So apologies, Brendan had other engagement this morning, so he's given me the task just to give some feedback in terms of IOPSA, in terms of 2022, what IOPSA has been up to. And I think it's one of those key components that we need to just keep in check with regards to what IOPSA has been doing and where our challenges are and our experiences. So if we look at IOPSA membership, currently now we've got 1,198, which includes branches and franchises. And when we're looking at the estimated employees of these particular companies, we're between 15 and 20,000 individuals. Manufacturers and importer members, so we have 24. Associate members, 28. New members year to date, 92. And I think that this is a key one that we're actually very proud of, in that for the last couple of years, we've been up. I think last year was just over 100 and the year before. And again, this year with new members at 92. For the cancellations for this year, 2022, we've had 17. So again, those cancellations, when they come through, we basically go and follow up with the companies, and some of these are from individuals that have immigrated or that due to COVID or anything, companies have closed, people retiring. So we just follow up in terms of that. Maybe we've done something wrong or we're not meeting the needs of the individual. So it's key for us to be able to follow up in terms of those cancellations. Pending new applications to date, we have 22. So there are 22 individuals or individual companies that are in the mix for membership for this year. So that would possibly get us just over the 100 mark for this year. So when we go and have a look at the industry body landscape, so we start looking at other associations and organizations. So just to put us in line with where we are. So if we look at the individuals that we represent between IOPSA and the companies, we're looking at 15 to 20,000. PILB, licensed plumbers and plumbers that are registered with PILB, 8,377. When we look at the Plumbers Business Forum, 130. SA Women in Plumbing, 122. Master Builders, SA MBSA was established just over 100. Inclusive Plumbers Association, 82. And Professional Plumbers SA, PPSA, another organization. Basically, those stats are unknown. So when we go and have a look at the largest majority of representation, again, if you go and have a look at IOPSA, certainly between getting to 15 and 20,000 employees during the course of our time, what we do. So a large chunk of that membership in terms of plumbing companies is covered from an IOPSA perspective. So when we go and have a look at what does IOPSA provide, what gets our growth going. So if we just put a couple of these things together, technical advice. I think, between Steve and Gerry and Brendan and Richard, and there's just so much in terms of technical advice that in some instances you can't even put a price to, in terms of some of the issues and the technical advice that we provide. Dispute resolution. So again, we've been involved between the plumber and the consumer, just putting dispute resolution together and assisting in terms of finding that common ground or coming up with a solution to a possible problem that was there. The complaints portal. So again, handled in the audit office. All the complaints come through on the portal. All of that information is put through in terms of the information, the issues that are there. They are logged, they are captured, and then they are sent out to the various individuals that will assist in terms of the complaints. So again, there's a mix and match between member complaints and obviously non-member complaints. Non-member, there's obviously a cost, and we advise the consumer of that. And if they so choose to go with the costing and the report, etc., a large majority don't and learn from using an IOPSA member, going forward, because there's accountability and the backup that's there. Our e-learning platform, as we have here now, There is so much information in terms of courses and things that are available to members, representation. So when we go and look at the representation, whether it be through communication with the insurances, or with Water Affairs, or with SABS, etc., there's massive representation in terms of that. Chris could share with OHS support. For those that don't know, the Toolbox Talks on a Tuesday are really engaging in terms of assisting and guiding with regards to OHS, putting together safety files, and obviously anything coming down to OHS. Chris is just a phone call away. Marketing, when we look at the marketing that IOPSA does over the various platforms, really engaging in terms of getting it out there, the importance of using an IOPSA member. The Finder Plumber, I don't have the stats now, but again, when you go and have a look at the amount of queries, I think the last one we looked at was between 6,000 and 7,000 calls or engagements in terms of finding a plumber. So that, again, adding huge value to our members. Membership is required for some tenders, for some tender documents that come through. When we look at our IOPSA meetings that we've put together right throughout the country, I think the regions can be very proud of the engagement that we've done. One of the key things that Brendan had raised right in the beginning of this year, and it seems like yesterday, was that we've had COVID and we've had riots and we've had all types of things, and it was just to be able to get in front of our members, to be able to be front and center. And I think we've achieved that. Adrian's traveled this year. He's been all over. We've had Stephen, Sale, Hetty, we've had Brendan, myself. We've really got to places. Adrian was out in Bloemfontein. He was up in the Free State in Bethlehem, hosting meetings there. Stephen sailed down in the Eastern Transvaal, getting in Mpumalanga, getting to the members. So again, engaging, questioning, finding out what we can do better, what we could do more of. So those meetings have been really, really engaging. We've also looked at those meetings as a double-edged sword. So we've looked at installers training, which kicked off in KZN, and has just grown. It's been done in the Western Cape. It's been done all over the country. And this was just to be able to go and engage with the installers, those that are working in the vans, and being able to ensure that those common challenges that we find within our everyday lives of auditing and seeing plumbing, that we are able to give that information back to the installers. And obviously, and based on the information that we've received back, is that comebacks are starting to drop. So the benefit in terms of that training is certainly adding a massive amount of value. Plumbing Africa magazine, again, on a monthly basis, just getting that Plumbing Africa news coming through, the webinars that we host. All of these things are key critical items in terms of engaging with you, the plumber. When we look at funded apprentices, these are just items that we put together in terms of what those benefits would be if you had chosen to participate within some of these training initiatives. But if we look at the funded apprenticeship, estimated value there is 48,000 rand. The prime OHS training, which Chris puts together, that you come in knowing very little and come out at the end of it with the certification, that value is 25,000 rand. All Things Construction, which has been a project of mine and the team for quite a while, in basically bringing information to those that are either in the construction sector or going into the construction sector, and dealing with those pitfalls that we have. So again, that value is at 4,500 rand. Basic safety file, just a basic safety file that you get for free, 250 rand. The installers training, a non-member pays just on 400 rand. And again, that's per training session. So we've had a couple of individuals and members that have taken 2 or 3 personnel to these installers trainings. So you can just double up on that in terms of what that value would bring in terms of attending the installers training. There's multiple discount structures that we put in place. So just financial benefits to members. If each member had basically taken up these items, we'd be looking at a cost of 78,000 rand. And that's a huge amount of money in terms of benefits that are real tangible items that an IOPSA member would receive if they had chosen to participate within these particular projects. And again, a large part of IOPSA is engagement with government and other industry bodies. So again, the team within IOPSA is very structured in terms of where each one, if I can call it, plays within the sector. So we've got the Department of Employment and Labour. So as we all know, consumer installer safety, we speak and engage on numerous occasions with consumer installer safety. And again, as we all know, the certificate of compliance was removed from SANS 10254, and we've been engaging with the Department of Employment in the possibility of a COC in some form at a later stage. So that's still down the line. But again, it's those levels of engagement in terms of what we're doing. Department of Trade and Industry, WASH Industrial Master Plan, Water and Buildings Regulations, updating National Building Regulations. So again, Steve van Zyl and Herman Strauss very much involved in looking at standards, looking at regulations, and being a part of that communication in terms of where there is a conflict between one standard and the other, is being able to put those together so that we've got a concise document. So again, some great work that gets done by them. Department of Water and Sanitation, the WELS scheme. So again, when we look at WELS, the WELS document was utilized overseas. And basically, it's looking at the management of water devices and the savings that come with that. So there's a lot of work that gets done in terms of WELS. We all know that we're in a water-stressed and energy-stressed sector. So again, just those WELS documents and working in terms of water efficiency. SABS, we are currently, again, working on SANS 1732, which is grey water, and SANS 10254 TP piping requirements and expansion tanks. So again, we had a look at the TP discharge. It's been in the standard. We all understand it, that the sizing of the discharge, the distances, et cetera, So IOPSA garnered some funds and got some donations to be able to go and have a look at it. Because again, when we look at the price of copper and where it's been going and where it is going, it was decided, let's go and have a look at it, see, is there a concern, is it factual, et cetera. So we've done quite extensive work on that. And those publications will be out shortly. In terms of what the suggestions would be going forward. So they've opened up a work ticket and submitting that to SABS to have a look and see where it goes. Department of Public Works and Infrastructure, we have a memorandum of understanding, training, upliftment and professional of the Department of Public Works staff. Again, something that Lorraine Moy has been very much involved with in terms of that engagement. And also updating material specs. So as you can see in terms of that engagement, there's a massive amount of time and energy that gets into it. Municipalities. We're again working with various municipalities, topics, but mainly free BCO training. So this is one of the key components that come through from the sector in terms of engaging with the building control officers. As you know, Cape Town and Durban have both water and building control officers. And there's a shortage of information and training with regards to the building control officers in terms of plumbing. As we all know, plumbing does not fall within, or water does not fall within 10400. So again, it's just that engagement with the BCOs in terms of actually enhancing their knowledge. Gerry down and JP down in the Naarden and Southern Cape region have done phenomenal work there with the Naarden municipality. Kurt and the team down in Cape Town have been phenomenal in terms of that. We've had engagements with local authorities in KZN and Gauteng. So again, it's just that enhancing our industry. What we do will then have benefit in terms of the plumber going forward. So again, just making sure that we keep abreast of the challenges and bringing that information through to the sectors. Public-private growth initiatives, support for struggling municipalities, water and sanitation. Brendan, very passionate about this in terms of understanding whether the bylaws are up to date or there are current bylaws. And there's been a massive uptake in terms of working with local authorities in terms of getting their water bylaws up to a point. Not all perfect yet. It can be frustrating, but it's something that, again, without those supports coming through from the municipalities, how it affects the plumbing industry. Water Institute of SA, WISA, and again, we keep emphasizing the importance of qualified plumbers. SA Water Chamber, important to qualified plumbers. So all of these initiatives that we're involved with, and again, with thanks to Brendan and Lorraine, with these engagements is the importance, because a lot of these initiatives that are put together, it's non-plumbers that are participating in these and not really enhancing the importance of good plumbing. So that's been the modus operandi for us, is to be able to sit down and put those challenges in front of these individuals and ensure that we front and center. And again, there's been some massive positivities coming out of that. A Professional Roofing and Waterproofing Association, PROA. So again, looking at training for plumbers on roofing and waterproofing, one of the key components in terms of our working with PROA. Corrosion Institute of South Africa, training for plumbers on corrosion protection for pipes. Construction Alliance South Africa, CASA, various construction-related issues, especially construction mafia. So again, we all understand this construction mafia that's around the country and the impact that has from a construction point of view. And then obviously how that impacts in terms of the plumbers that are contracting to these major building companies. And then building construction industry medical. Again, it's one of those things that Brendan's brought to the table with regards to trying to find a medical aid for the plumbing industry or for plumbers. It's one of those challenges that we've all come across, whether it be pensions and medical aids. So again, working with an acceptable medical aid that would be within the price range as a starting point, rather have something rather than the current nothing. So again, one of those important engagements that we're putting together. So what to expect for 2023? So just in essence, I think Brendan and I sat early December and early January of this year, and we really we were at our wits' end in terms of what can we expect for 2022. And Brendan will tell you that it was maybe one of the first times in our lives that we knew, or we didn't have an answer or a plan or whatever. There were so many things up in the air with regards to 10254. We had COVID recovery. We had so many things on the plate, trying to budget and put things together, what the effect would be in terms of our members, what load shedding would do and how it would impact. So we really did have a challenge. And as Brendan says, sometimes, expect unexpected. And trust me, we've certainly had that in the last couple of years. But, again, what do you expect for 2023? Load shedding will continue and possibly get worse. There'll be little or no economic growth, increased water and sanitation issues. And I think, for all of us in industry, when we start seeing how it's been impacted in Gauteng, how it's being impacted in other municipalities, the lack of infrastructure and repairs. KZN's had what they call water shedding, the breakdowns in services and pump systems, and how that affects the rivers and our drinking water, the lack of maintenance in terms of pump stations, industrial action and strikes, and then increased active citizenship. So again, there's a lot of things out there. So again, some big question marks: ANC political stability, coalition politics, and again, the war in Russia and Ukraine, how that's affected us in terms of fuel and other things. And that in itself, has had an impact. So we are very resilient when we are, as South Africans, we're very resilient. We make a plan, lights go off, we'll light the bra, we'll do these things. But these are items that when we look at it in terms of investment and looking at how the country is going to be in 2023, if we had a crystal ball, it would really be easy. But I think we're going to have more of the same of this year. I think business is certainly going to get harder. We've seen with the lack of some of the insurance companies, with the relaxation in terms of accepting the certificate of compliance from the professional body, that in itself has had an impact in terms of those unqualified people, if we want to be able to call it that, submitting their own certificates or making up their own ones. And let's remember, it's not a requirement in terms of the standard currently now, but what it has done is has affected the plumber. It has affected the guy that's out there trying to do things the right way. And then obviously a reduction in terms of costs because we're dealing with unqualified individuals. COVID, again, we start seeing things that are happening in China, and how we know that when China sneezes, the whole world gets the flu, and that's a reality. And we start to see that happening there again, and some question marks around that. Are we going to go back to where we were before? What to expect. So again, some challenging times, but I think when we're looking at things, we've survived the last couple of years. We've come out with some bruises and a couple of headaches, but we're resilient, and I think we've done exceptionally well. When I look at how IOPSA has been and the team, and I think if Brendan was here, I'd be telling you the team, of IOPSA, when it comes to getting things done, making it happen. I don't think we could wish for a better team. That can-do attitude. There isn't one within the team that puts himself forward. It's a team effort. We all back each other up and make sure that the deliverables are met. We've got a massive amount of support in terms of the regions that have been so proactive this year. When I look at what the Free State have done, KZN's done, the first golf day down in the Western Cape, phenomenal, in terms of the support and the structure. And I had a meeting on Friday afternoon with Mahen and Garth in KZN, and we're finding our calendars. We're busy putting together our calendar for the next year. And the amount of engagements in terms of, please, can we host a meeting? We want this, we want that. So that bodes well for next year in terms of the support that we're getting in terms of engagements from not only our platinum members, and those that aren't members. So again, being the optimist, I think that next year could be exciting. And yes, we'll have challenges, but we'll get going. So Brendan and I have had a chat, and the team, and we've had a chat, and we've had a look at it and said, well, what is it that we need to do next year? And the one word I did say to Brendan was learn how to say no, because we seem to be able to, anything that lands on our table, we tend to, let's get it done. We'll get that sorted out, no problem. And the glass just becomes more and more full. But we're looking at consumer awareness. I think it's one of those key components that from the consumer's perspective is for us to be able to make the consumer aware of the importance of engaging with qualified plumbers, having that accountability, and making sure that we stand out from the rest. Career guidance and career path developments. We had a workshop having a look at again, the career of a plumber. If we go and have a look at what happens overseas, there's a clear career guidance, A, B, C, D, E, F, G. And it's something that we've looked at and said, well, how do we do this? Sorry, I've got somebody doing the blower outside, but if there's any background noise, I do apologize. Career guidance and career path developments, competence certificates and assessments. Again, looking at items that we can start, as an example, backflow prevention, etc., is start putting certification and assessments together in terms of those particular courses to bulk up the competency of the plumber. ARPL, best practice guides. So again, looking at possibly the plumber's Bible, where we've looked at it and said the standards are so important, in terms of the plumber and what he does. However, they are expensive. So again, we've looked at that as being putting those best practice guides together for the plumber's Bible. Green plumbing, again, identifying green plumbing, working with the Department of Labor, Department of Public Works, Building Control Officer training, and those key ones that Brendan raised right in the beginning of the year, new technologies and where we can do better in terms of growing our business, standing out from the rest, going into the green plumbing, going into tanks, various different things that we can do, solar and heat pumps, etc. So again, looking at those new technologies. New membership system. Again, we've got a structure that we've been putting in place since early this year, and it's been progressively getting better. But again, new membership system in terms of the criteria required. So that will be launched, making it that much easier in terms of joining for the smaller individuals. Find a plumber, want to obviously grow that in terms of the consumer, and then obviously product compliance. One of those key things that we've had to look at is making sure of products and being aware of the compliance with regards to those products. So we are at that time of the year. Byron, I don't know if we've got any questions or anything.
We do have a question here.
Yes, Byron.
So they say here, how can I become an IOPSA member, and how much to join, and how much is it to contribute per month?
All right. So what I'll do, if you've got that information, so in essence, IOPSA, we do have an application process that goes through. Marie will send you the form. So Byron, if you've got that information, that you can just send to me, and then I will get Marie to get the form through. But in essence, you must have a qualified plumber in your employee. There are certain things in terms of tax clearance certificates, certain requirements that are required in terms of making the application form. And then the annual membership, if I remember correctly, I think is about 5,500 Rand a year. It can be paid over either debit order, or it can be paid one lump sum. So there is a structure in terms of that, in terms of what those requirements are. But I will get the details and certainly send it through to yourself so that you can get that and maybe just give you a call in that regard. But I think the key thing for us is, we all do things on our own, and we all want things to go well, and we want things to happen. But I think from IOPSA's perspective, and the direction that we've been given by our executive director and the team, is to key focus on protecting the plumber, protecting the consumer, and uplifting the standards of plumbing in South Africa. And I think we can't do that on our own. And that comes from all of our members, our volunteers, in terms of those in the regions that certainly have meetings once a month or getting together to do various projects. I mean, if I look at the things that we've done this year from an IOPSA perspective with regards to the flood relief, the COVID relief funds that we've done, the various initiatives that have been taken, having a look at schools in terms of their preparedness, working with the Department of Education and Training, the TVET colleges. This list that we have here could be 100 miles long. And again, it just comes from passionate people that just want to make a difference and make a difference to you, the plumber, in terms of going forward. So participate, get involved, ask the right questions, ask any question. But I think the key thing for us is to make a difference. And I think we've done that. Not to pat ourselves on the back, because again, I think we do get a little bit disappointed when things don't go as quickly as we'd like them to be. There are some things that just drag on. But I think as a team and as those members and representation, I'm very proud of everything that we've achieved and what we've got on the table through all of the difficulties. All right, so everybody needs a break. The office will be closed. It's been a long year, and our team is taking a break over the holidays. Our offices will be closed from December the 16th. Regular office hours will resume January the 9th. I will be taking calls over December. So if there's anything that our members have, or any queries or assistance, wherever I can possibly be of assistance, I will be available. I see we've got another question. Byron?
I don't. It says thank you for all the time spent with us and training and the early awakenings.
Yeah, thank you. And I think, we just want to thank every single one of you, because without you, we wouldn't be here. And I think I just want to share and wish everyone a great festive season. If you're driving anywhere, please take it safe. Let's get everybody back in January, safe and sound. To Byron and your team, Byron, without you, we wouldn't be here. This morning we had lastminute.com. Bianca, thank you very much for helping me get this presentation working. To our team, I just want to thank you all. And I really am proud of all of us that stand up and say, yes, we're going to make a difference. We support IOPSA and what we're doing and their initiatives. So thank you. If there's no more questions, then we're going to close it up, Byron.
Yep. Thank you very much.